And what is an
That's
IPA?
an independent practice association. Now what this means is this: if you say are an HMO patient, you're the patient, the HMO is the insurance company, you have between the insurance company and the patient a doctor's organization. That's the IPA, Independent Practice Association. That's a physician's organization that's taking care of the patients that are receiving their benefits from an insurance company. And the IPA, an Independent Practice Association, usually has a management company affiliated with it to whom they pay a fee to negotiate contracts with the insurance company. And people should remember, an insurance company and an HMO are the same thing by and large.
An insurance company
And the HMO, they are like HealthNet is an HMO, it's an insurance company. Blue Cross has an HMO, it's an insurance company. So the management of these companies usually charge the physicians about 10%. And
so you get 10% skimmed off your fees right at the top.
Right off the top.
Right off the top.
Right
Before
off the
you
top.
pay taxes or anything else, 10% is skimmed off, and you got to operate on the 90%.
Right.
And if you see too many patients or take too much time with too many patients, do too many tests, you come up short. And that's what happened to your group here, right?
Well, it gets to be a pretty complicated thing, but essentially we received X number of dollars per month. And we saw, starting about a fall of the year 2001, that we were going to have a shortfall on a month-to-month basis, that we were going to be increasingly losing money. So we decided to notify our management company, and we notified them February 2002 that we were terminating our relationship. And when we did that, we had to provide service for 6 more months as part of our contractual obligation.
Yeah, I saw that on the news. That was in the local news.
Right.
How about your patients? What kind of feedback do you get to those patients when they say, well, I can't come back to you under this?
Some people, people do different things. Some people elected to stay in an HMO. And, I think an HMO is just a vehicle for insurance. I'm not trying to say you cannot get good care in an HMO. In fact, I'd say the opposite almost. Most people in an HMO are getting very good care. You do have some problems, just like anything else. You don't have access to you don't have as broad an access, and that's why when we get to what we're here about, that is the so-called medical savings accounts, we'll be addressing that sort of issue.
How about someone like Beverly McHugh, who ran for school board here? She runs a little independent business over there by the health center where you and I work out, and Philip has got Abbey Rents down there now. Philip said he just signed up on this medical savings account thing. We're going to get to, people. It's called a medical savings account, and Mid-State Bank is their authorized bank that the Congress has only authorized so many people to do it. And this is not a plug for Mid-State Bank, but you need to go to new accounts and ask them about medical savings account. And Peter's going to tell you why this is important to you, and this is useful information to you as an individual. We just haven't got there. We're still going through the history of how we got to the point where this was created.
Okay, well, let's talk about some problems, what you might call problems in medical economics, as I see them. And I think this is, a lot of this is generally acceptable as to why medicine costs so much, and it's going to cost increasingly more. I think one of the big problems is there's an exponential increase in the rate of technical knowledge. And it's true not only in the computer field, but it's true in the medical field. And this is not only that knowledge is expanding in medicine, it's the rate of change of new information that's changing. And these new technologies tend to be quite expensive. The examination, for instance, that a lot of our specialists give the patients now is a more expensive and a more involved technically now than it was like 10 years ago. For instance, women, when they go to an OB doctor, it's not only that they get a physical examination, they get ultrasound examinations, their blood's being examined to see if to try and prevent or anticipate problems with the fetus. And these are techniques that are being used now that weren't being done 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it just makes things more expensive. And we're going to see more of it. And you compound this with the fact that we have an aging population, and people are going to have more medical problems as time goes on.
Is it a liability for a doctor now, Dr. Statti? If you have the technique, a pregnant woman comes in and say she had a niece who had a problem child because there was a problem with the, not from drinking or anything, but a genetic